Hey guys, Max here. Let's do this video review on Boox Palma 2. Boox Palma 2. Now, the box is a little bit misleading and it all depends how one might understand this, but it says right there, it says mobile e-paper. Something that I do want to clarify for a lot of people, there is absolutely no cellular connectivity on this device at all. There is no SIM tray. This device is dependent on Wi-Fi antennas. So just to get this out of it, because it was actually a big deal for a lot of people when the original Palma came out. A lot of people complained, oh, if it had a mobile service on it, it would be a device that they would 100% go for it. It all depends to person's liking. For some people, they want eliminate this distraction and just use a device for reading purposes. Now, this device is capable of a lot of things, and I'm going to cover a lot of those details in this video. But just to get this out of the way, there is no cellular connectivity at all. And I definitely would not want to pay for a cell phone service plan just for this to have connectivity, because there are limitations to using a device with e-ink display. I know there's a lot of people that want that to eliminate fatigue to their eyes. There is definitely also pluses to e-ink display, but you definitely can do a lot more with an Android or an iPhone. Or let's say if you are in a different country that uses Oxygen OS or Harmony OS, you're definitely able to do a lot of things with those devices versus than using it, for example, on this device. There are limitations with e-ink. To simplify what e-ink is, kind of it has similarities to an OLED display. OLED uses individual pixels that light up on that display, which is what those pixels would be using in energy. The difference between using e-ink, there's actually video. There's a video that explains how e-ink works, and it's pretty interesting. But to simplify things, just picture like tiny black balls on the bottom of it. And then whatever it needs to illustrate, it goes up to the surface to show the image. Hopefully that makes sense. There is a video. If I'm screwing up the explanation of the video, I'm so sorry, but basically it goes up to the surface to show off whatever you need to see on that display. What does that mean? It means display is slower. The refresh rate is definitely affected, but it also uses a lot less energy. So now this is Palma 2. This is a next generation upgrade to Palma 1. There are some similarities, there's some differences. I'm probably going to do a different video just to compare both. If I have enough time, if this video is not long enough, if it's not too long, I might do the comparison in this video, but stay tuned. Okay, also what I want to get out of the way, I really dislike this case. Absolutely dislike it. It reminds me of back in the days. They still have plenty of those cases. I'm a big fan, especially back in the days, of using folio cases. So this way I did not have to apply screen protector on my phone. So I would generally use a folio case like I like to use, for example, with my tablets. On the pictures, they look nice and beautiful, compact, and then when you get them delivered, they look like this bulky mess. And this is what it reminds me of. So this is device itself. Look how much thicker the case is. It's like, really, look at this. It kind of defeats the purpose of being palmable. Look at the difference this. Look how comfortable this is. And then you have to deal with this monstrosity. So if you see a great deal, let's say on Amazon or a third-party app, third-party source where this device is being sold, and you're not getting this case. Now, this is up to your own choosing. I would honestly just buy it from those sources, especially if they're offering discounts, because I think ordering from Boox, you get a benefit of getting this included because that's how I did. Same thing as last year when it was buying the original Boox Palma, original Palma. If you ordered it from Boox, you got a free case. Same here. I ordered it from Boox and I got this ugly case. I'm being honest. This case is disgusting in my opinion. Look at this. This is cheap plastic. I don't know the longevity of how dirty this thing is gonna get. I'm not even gonna test it. I'm not gonna use it. Like my original one without a case, since I got it, not a single scratch. So this I'm definitely not gonna use. But if you just have history of dropping things and cracking things and you need some protection, I guess when you're looking at what the options out there are, I guess it makes sense to get this. Anyway, so currently this device is off. Let me just go quickly around the device. This is a power button, which also doubles as a fingerprint scanner. This is a volume rocker, up, down. Here is a special button. I left it as is, but you're able to customize options with these buttons. It's in the settings. I left it as is because for me, it's much more important to have a easier refresh button. So if, let's say if I see some ghosting, I just click on it and it refreshes display. Here is micro SD slot. Here's a speaker. There is a tiny hole right over there, which is a microphone. There's another tiny hole right over here. There's a sensor right over there, sort of speaker here. Then you have books right here. There's a flashlight and the camera. That's basically it. This is plastic. It's texturized. It does not feel soft. It literally feels like plastic, but I like it. It does collect some fingerprints, but it's less noticeable than, for example, using a phone. So let me wipe it off quickly. It does not have a special layer that, for example, you get on Samsung phones like S24 Ultra, S23 Ultra that has S Pen capabilities, or like, for example, an iPad, or like, for example, tabs from Samsung that have special layer for their pens to use. But you can buy this type of pen. There's other similar options that you could buy. This was, I think it was like $5 or $6 that I bought. I think I bought this on Temu, but Amazon has a bunch of them. So let me turn it on. All right. Boox. This is an amazing device. Meaning, how do I simplify this? If you live in a congested areas, such as New York City, any of those areas where, for example, that you're like relying on public transportation, especially if you having to deal with rush hour, going to work, coming from work, and you're in tight spaces, but you're a big fan of reading, and you want something that's small. Sure, there's Kindle, there's Kobo, there is Nuke from Barnes& and Noble. There's a lot of options out there. Even there are nowadays like TCL has Next Paper that has special type of display on it. It's I have a review on that. I didn't like that device. Or for example, I recently reviewed iPad Pro 11-inch with nano texture, which I also love that device. It's for reading, but that device has an OLED panel, so there's some minuses with that one. This is e-ink. The best thing about this device is it is run, like the operating system in this device is Android 13. What does that mean? That means most probably whatever the application that you're using on your phone, you're able to download it on this device. Is it going to work the same way? Probably not, because the limitation of e-ink device is refresh rate. For example, Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, which I have right here. And I have the iPhone, let me get rid of notifications. Here's an iPhone 16 Pro Max. 120 hertz refresh rate. I don't even know what the refresh rate of this device is, but those devices, the phones, 120, 60 hertz, they're pretty fast. The limitation of e-ink, it's a much slower display. What I loved about Palma original one, it brought something new to the table. It was a snappy e-ink device. Not on the same level as phones, but comparing to what e-ink devices prior to that were, much, much faster display, which was a joy to use. It was one of the first devices that I was able to use. I have it right over here. One of the first devices that I was able to use to read news articles, to go on websites. Yes, there are limitations, the fact that it is black and white display, but still it opened up a new door into something completely new, especially when comparing to the prior devices that I've had, which were slow. The ghosting was so annoying. And then came this new, beautiful, tiny product. And I'm talking about tiny, meaning comparing to this humongous, clunky, huge border type of devices, even by Boox. And then you got something like this. It's palmable. It's easy to use. Look at this, so light. And I'm able to read things on it comfortably for long periods of time without experiencing eye fatigue. At the same time, the speakers are pretty nice and loud. So when I wanted to give break to my eyes, because there's a native Neo reader that's in this device, and so is the first one, that has capabilities of voice narrating, and they are pretty good. They're not as robotic as comparing to what I tested with other devices, and it was a plus. So then came a new kid in the block, not new, but like an upgrade to the original one. And sometimes when you have such an amazing device, it's very hard what you could do to make it even better. Because nowadays, original Palma, it's still an amazing device. So there's very little that you could literally change to it to make it better. So let me put in my passcode. I don't want. Actually, let me just show you. The fingerprint scanner does not work when you initially start the device. And it's actually, so what I have it set on this device is it automatically, let's say if I'm not using it for 15 minutes, it automatically shuts off. When this automatically shuts off, you can't use the fingerprint scanner. So you manually have to punch in the passcode, which is kind of a little negative, but it's there. So let me go over it. I'm going to use this pen. I'm just going to, it came as, I haven't changed anything to here. So here is battery percentage. Here's the Wi-Fi symbol. There's the time. That's the correct time. November 24th, Sunday. Here is a search. Here's the first folder. It's called Tool. And here you have voice recorder. I'm going to do a voice recording. This is how you record it. Let me just click on it. This is a test to show the capabilities of microphone on Boox Palma 2, and also at the same time to show how the speakers work. So if you want to use a device and you're in school, or if you need a specific device to record, like lectures or someone speaking or whatever you want to record, I'm not going to go into examples, this could be an option. Okay. I recorded this. This is the earlier. This is a test. A test to show the capabilities of microphone on Boox Palma 2. And also at the same time to show how the speakers work. So if you want to use a device and you're in school, or if you need a specific device to record, like lectures or someone speaking or whatever you want to record, I'm not going to go into examples, this could be an option. Okay. So to get to all of them, they're right here. Okay. Next one is calculator, self-explanatory. So this is being e-ink. It's not as like, for example, there's some delay. Sometimes you have to be a little bit firm with pressing. But just see, there's a little delay. So let's say 5 plus 5, 10. So that works, right? Actually, let me go over the gestures. Out of the box, I haven't changed anything. So in the middle, swiping up takes you home. When you swipe up here, it takes you to a recent applications. To go home here. To swipe up over here, it opens up settings to specific app. Here is where you could change the refresh modes. This is HD, this is balanced. My favorite is more balanced because it's much smoother. But the more you go this way, the more ghosting you're going to deal with. So, but I'll illustrate it. So swipe up here. Then you have Naviball. So Naviball is if you don't want to deal with swiping up, or for example, I also have it enabled like an Android device, going this way, going that way, swiping. It's like a back function. But if you don't want to deal with that, you want to activate Naviball. So there's back, there's app optimization, there's AI assistant, there's full refresh. Then you have scrolling, buttons, screenshot, marquee screenshot, Naviball settings, and you could change all of those. And then collapse Naviball. So to enable it, you could enable it there, and as you can see, the Naviball is now over there. And that literally allows you to, without doing any gestures, just select things over here. So let me open this. Now click here. Let me move this. So you can see there's ghosting there. You could just click on this button. That's why I left it as is. Click on this button right here. And it refreshes. So now you don't see any ghosting here. But next thing is like you can see it's ultra fast. The more you go this way, the more ghosting you're going to deal with. So if you leave it at HD and then you're moving, as you can see, there's no ghosting. But going back to ultra fast, you have ghosting. So click on the button, it refreshes, and ghosting is gone. Now I like balanced, but with balanced you also see some ghosting there. Click the button on the side. The best experience is obviously HD, high definition. So clicking on this, there's a back button. You click back button. Hold on, let me move this here. And it just functions as you do, let's say, swiping over here. Now, I'm not a fan of using that. Some of you might benefit from it, but I'm not, because I'm already used to using it with gestures. Next one is clock. That's self-explanatory. We just had it open, and then you could add extra functions. I want to add something here. I'll keep this there so I can take a picture. So this, I'm going to skip this. So there's doc scan. Let me see. To delete this, we don't need anything extra. This is what I was testing earlier. So to create a new scan. You add whatever the name you want, and then doing it like that. All right. So this is a scan. It's much more comfortable when you're scanning a document, which unfortunately I don't have right next to me. Let me see if I could get something. All right, let's use this one. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna delete this. Let me scan it. Okay, so this is the scan, and then you're able to edit it. Here you do editing to make it okay. That's basically it. I don't need to save this. I'm gonna delete this. Okay. There we go. Let me go here. It's gone. Again, there's some lag with using this, but once you get used to it, it's gonna be a breeze. Here's a library where you could basically the book that I want to read next. The store. This is the store from Boox. I never use this. Okay, here. So you could download some books here. Let's click on this, the print. Full edition download. There's no pricing on it. So it's free, I guess. Like I said, I never downloaded anything from it. Help Center. You just click on it and you just go for it. There's dictionary, there's calendar, there's music here. I have nothing in there. I think it was a while since people downloaded MP3s and just listened music from there, but the good part about it, if you do have music there, it kind of creates a player notification, so you're able to just close it and use it. Bookdrop, it's sort of considered like a cloud service. So if you want to send a book to your device, it's very similar to what Kindle does. There's a gallery. There's pictures here. As you can see, there's a scan, there's a camera. And the way to do this is you open up camera right over here. Let me put, what do I have here? DJI microphones. So you take a picture of it. It's right there. And then you're able to open with certain like gallery, Neo browser, Neo reader. This is the native reader. Actually, I really like that reader. But if you go into the gallery, it's right over there. And you have all the pictures that you're taking here. Doesn't look good in here because it is an e-ink display. But if you upload the pictures, they do have color in them. Okay. Then you have AI here. And you basically, how is the weather? And then, there you go. I'm sorry, I don't have access to real-time weather information. You can check weather website or app to find out how the weather is today. So this is a very smart AI. But it says on top, a little life, a novel. Somehow it goes into a book. All right, so let's do a little sound comparison. I'll go over the apps in a bit. So I have Epidemic Sound here because I don't want any copyright issues. So let me open up. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. Now this is ultra fast. So if I had it on HD, it does that, but at least it eliminates as much as possible of ghosting. The ghosting behind it is from previous mode. Let's see. And there's still some. I don't like black and white background. But just to show it, let me turn the light off so people could see. There was one of the things that I had people ask me, if you're able to see the white lighting around it. And you definitely can. There's the light around it on the dark background. Okay, I'm going to turn light back on. But it's not something that I personally would use for example, if I'm reading. I don't like, on the e-ink display, I prefer to read it with the white background. And it's not so caustic to the eyes. I don't feel as much as fatigue to the eyes because it is an e-ink display. Now, generally, if I'm using, for example, a phone or a tablet, I always have dark mode enabled. But in this case, I would not. So let me open up my library. Going to Beats. We could also do a little bit balanced. There you go. Let's go here. I don't like how this sounds. It kind of, because it doesn't have that whole stereotype of experience with the speakers. It just sounds noisy. Let me try. Let's go with the first song that I have here, which is Divergent. All right, let me just open it on my iPhone. Okay, here's the same application. It has matte screen protector on my phone. So obviously, the phone is a lot louder. Okay. Some glitch. All right, I guess that's enough. Now, obviously the comparison of using iPhone, which does not use Android, is very different. But here's it tells me update. So here's Pixel 9 Pro XL. This is Android. This is Android 15, and this runs Android 13. And the biggest upgrade, I would say, if you are concerned about security patch and things like that, now Google supports their Android version devices as they say, oh, this phone is going to have 5 years updates support. This phone will have, for example, 3 years of software updates, but 5 years of security patch updates. That's something that's important to consider, especially if you're planning to use devices like this for personal information such as banking or anything to related to finances or something that's secure, such as, for example, a cloud service that you're going to connect to this. All of that is important because the older OS or older Android versions means older security patches. That's something to consider. And I'm going to do more of that coverage when I'm going to do the comparison between this and the original Boox Palma. But the best thing about using something like this type of device is eliminating needing to use multiple devices. For example, if you are an individual that likes to use a public library source to borrow books from there and read them on your device, most probably Kindle is not going to support that. I'm talking about the Kindle Reader, not the Kindle Fire Kindle tablets. So that means you're going to have to use an uncomfortable display, such as, I don't know, a tablet that has a glossy display, or you might go with a pricey variant, such as iPad with nano texture display. Now, that's a nice display for reading, but definitely not as comfortable as using something like this for reading. So here you could just download this application and just borrow a book. So you open it, and then you could just basically borrow whatever the application that you want. I don't even know how to use this application. I never borrow any applications from there. But basically here you could just get whatever you want. You could even use it with the Kindle. And it gives you an option of getting books from here. Or if, for example, you are Kindle user, you could use Kindle application to read books. We don't need that for now. So you could get books from here. Hopefully I'm not going to open anything weird. But here you're able to get books. Let's see, what do we have in there? My favorite is Read Era application. I use it on multiple devices. And honestly, what this is able to do is what native application that's near reader in this device able to do. And again, I'm very big on, I love to read on my own, but then I still want to continue with the book, but I don't want to sit there or not utilize whatever the time I have to do that I can use other things. I'd rather you do other things, but at the same time listen to my book. And Near Reader has an amazing voice narrator option that Read Era application does too. But let me just open up. This is the Google Play, and we could go here, type Nook. Here we go. You could download Barnes & Noble Nook. You could also download Kobo easily. Download that. Bunch of reading. My favorite that I like to read, it's Google News. There we go. It's just very seamless experience. If you like to read, for example, the New York Times, you're able to simply download things like that, and it gives you an experience of reading magazines and newspapers, and it looks very, very good. Obviously, with each application, you're able to adjust it to your liking. But as you can see, everything is here. So for example, let me open up, even like we just did Libby. And by going over here, swiping from the right as it originally was out of the box, I'm able to customize certain things. So right now it's ultra fast. I could do it balanced. I could go here and I could adjust more to other applications at the same time. I could also optimize application further. There's no color here, but gives you the background. Page turns. There's a lot of things that you could do automatically to customize this application to your liking. So again, others, colors, display, you could reset, and you can make bold text. You could eliminate font, automatically full refresh when switching a page, which is nice. And then again, going back here, this is the refresh rates. Again, this will be the fastest going from here to here, but you're definitely going to be you're going to be seeing more of ghosting. So this is Libby application. Here I'm able to see if I borrowed anything. I don't even know if no, skip this. There we go, the books. It was just asking before if I want to use it natively over here or I want to use an app like Kindle. So if I go to HD, again, it's going to give the most beautiful display, but as you can see, there's a little delay in refresh, but at least no ghosting. But if I go here, Regal, this would drive me nuts. So let's go ultra fast. See, it's much quicker. But the beauty of it, it refreshes a lot of it by itself. You can see there's a little ghosting there, but then it quickly goes away. Like Boox really spent their time developing their first Palma and this one. But that's just to give an experience that you're able to download all of these applications. You're even like, this is my favorite. I don't want this. So if I want to read, for example, news, look how quick it is. Boox Palma. Ain't broke, not fixed. Okay. So let's click on this. So if you want a device on the go, simply to read and enjoy, look at this. What is it set on? Ultra fast. Then you can make it fast. This is an e-ink display. E-ink is known to be clunkier, but look how smooth this is. Like Boox, this is an amazing device. If you're looking for a device for reading on the go, this is this device is so capable. There are limitations to an e-ink display. This is nowhere in near competition to, for example, how fast the phone can be. Let me see if I could open. I have it on airplane mode. But let me see if I could get the same article. There we go. That's why I had it on airplane mode, because I had the phone off. And I didn't want to see all these notifications. Let's see. Yeah, there's too many notifications. I'm not even going to bother with using a phone. But you get an idea where you could just literally just, If you're reading an article, obviously this is black and white, so the images aren't going to be the best. Even if you play around, let's say with HD, now you could see it's much better. You could see it better, but it's still black and white. And this is where we're going to see the difference between the refresh. So this is balanced, so it's less clear. Now you want it to make more clear, you press the button on the side. Still not as clear, but if you do HD, now you could see it more. And if you go into regal mode, just to give an example, refreshes itself. Now this is nice. It gives you an option how you want things to run. The best thing about it is it does refresh itself a lot of times. So you're still able to take full advantage. As you can see, the fact that this is e-ink, it has to refresh itself to give that good experience. And this is where this device wins, is you could use Kindle, you could use Libby, you could use ReadError, you could use Kobo, you could use Barnes & Noble Nuke and Google News. You could get a bunch of news source magazines. As long as you're not going to be relying on using color image, you could do a lot of things here. And the best thing about this device is Native Reader. Look at this. You're able to adjust this in so many ways. I'm just going to quickly play something so you could tell why I love. So TTS is the voice.
In his entire life, and not only would he never have to work, but his children's children's children.
Okay, you could go in here and you could change the voice sounds. It's very being from here. So prefer engine, install voice data. You could go into English. Just make sure I didn't miss it there. English United States.
This is an example of speech.
So you're able to basically, I don't want to get copyright written, but here you could change different voice in order to.
Would never have to work. They could make bad.
There you go. You could speed things up. You could exit from the reading sounds. And here you're able to change the style. You could make it different font, make it smaller. You could also make it bold, night, where it's black and white. And again, now this is much more readable because this is a native application. Where let's go into the Kindle. Let's go into the Kindle. No, I don't want notifications. Let's go into my library. Oh gosh, I never signed in. Let me see if I have anything in there. I remember I signed in. Let me quickly sign in. I did sign in. I remember I did. Interesting. All right. Just to give an example of what Kindle reading is like. All right, so they're signing in. It's syncing my account.